Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where today on Tools 101 we are going to go over all of the absolute basics of how to work a miter saw. Let's get started. A miter saw, also known as a chop saw or drop saw, is a power tool used for making cross cuts and angle cuts in wood, metal, or plastic. It consists of a circular saw blade mounted on a pivoting arm, which allows you to adjust the cutting angle. There are two main types of miter saws, the basic miter saw and the compound miter saw, which allows you to tilt the blade as well, enabling bevel cuts in addition to miter cut. With this specific saw, you go to the back at this little knob and push down on the saw and pull it out. And this little knob comes out of this hole, and that's how it is stored in the locked position. And basically you just put it down and push the knob back in so that the blade doesn't move. These are your different degree cuts. It goes up to 45 degrees, and this is the area that allows you to do bevel cuts, since this is a compound miter saw. This is only a 10-inch blade though, and it is stationary, so we are only able to cut trim pieces that are only 6 inches deep. I also have this 12-inch sliding miter saw, and this allows me to cut pieces of wood that are 16 inches wide just by pulling on the saw like this, and it still does all of the same capabilities as my portable 10-inch one. You can also see that I put this one on a stand, and it has these extending arms to help hold really long pieces of wood. So not only can you do these straight cuts and also the bevel cuts, and you can also make mitered cuts. In order to do this, you loosen the miter angle adjustment, which is this blue knob in the front, and set it to the desired angle, usually 45 degrees for standard corners. But you can see here the most common degrees are bolded, and that's like 30 degrees, 15 degrees, and 22.5. At the handle, you will see the trigger up top, and this little blue lever has to be engaged in order to allow the saw to spin. This is a safety button, and so in order for it to work, you have to hold in the blue little button as you hold the trigger, and the saw will work. This little button at the top is your LED cut line indication, and it also has a work light. Another safety feature is the blade guard that only exposes the blade as you're pulling it down. Another feature is the hold down, also commonly referred to as a miter saw clamp. And this allows you to keep your hands away from the blade and prevent wood movement while cutting your piece of wood. They can be removed and not even used at times, but it is really nice to have when you have thick, long boards that you need help holding down. And you can just push it out of the way if not needed. This back portion is referred to as the fence, and that is what you keep your board up against to make sure you have straight lines. You can get miter saws corded like mine or battery operated, but since I only have a corded, that's all I'm showing you, and let me give you some demonstrations. Achieving precision with a miter saw takes practice. Experiment with scrap wood before working on your main project. Adjust the angles as needed and fine-tune your technique for perfect results. The miter saw is an essential part of my tool bag. By understanding its basics and following safety guidelines, you can confidently use it to make precise and accurate cuts for various projects. Remember to practice regularly and be patient with yourself as you hone your skills. With time and experience, you'll find that the miter saw becomes an invaluable companion in your woodworking journey. Also, here you can see why sometimes it's essential to have different length miter saws in order to make these certain cuts. So the 12-inch sliding miter saw would have been perfect for that cut, whereas small trim like this can easily be done with a compact miter saw like this 10-inch. Just remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about your power tools, the less fear you'll have when using them. And when done, be sure to unplug it, lock it in the low position, and then you can take your dust collector and empty it into the trash. And that pretty much sums up this wonderful tool we like to call the miter saw. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tools 101, where we discussed everything you need to know about how to safely use a miter saw. Be sure to like this post, and I'd love if you'd subscribe for more. And like always, I'll be back next Monday with another DIY tutorial or possibly another Tools 101. See you then.